Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back today for part one of these road maps that are coming out. There's going to be 3 more to come out, and this is the first one on the future of Quest. So there is a ton of information. I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible and just talk about the main focal points in each section. So we got a bit of an intro here. You guys can pause if you want to really read all that. I've already read the whole post like 3 times. So yeah, let's get to the really important stuff. So we're going to go ahead and start with back issues number 5. Real quick though, so plans for book 2 are going to be more further below. So we'll get into that more later. But for variant 5, back issues 5, one thing we've heard loud and clear in the recent days is that back issues and its variant difficulty are high on the list of summoner desires in the contest. Everybody loves variant, man. I'm happy to report that while we were originally scaling back the release on these, we've taken a swerve and are getting them back into the roadmap in a more focused way. That's really good to hear. Back issues number 5, Blood and Venom will be no exception. We'll be going to champion requirements, back champion requirements, but keeping them act wide and layering that in with some tag targeted buffs that will make certain champions very potent in the right place. As for who, I can tell you for sure that the man of the hour, his greatest rival, and the hero who hunted him should all be present on your front line, or someone like them anyway. So that's Venom, Guillotine, and Spider-Man. And someone like them means different variations. So maybe Guillotine 2099, maybe Symbiote Spider-Man, maybe Stealth Spider-Man, maybe who knows, all kinds of Spider-Man. But yeah, so those are the champions that should be getting boosts for this quest. And Venom, of course, its name's in the quest, so I'm sure he's going to get a pretty good one. So that's exciting. So back issues will be releasing in August as part of our 28.0 build. We've already working on figuring out what back issues number 6 will be, and I'm hoping we'll get to see it before 2020 is over. No promises though. It's a pretty busy year for us already. For now, I'll pass it over to Bam Welker to talk Act 6 and some tweaks we're looking into. So Act 6. Hello folks, here with an update on the design and direction for Act 6. So Act 6 is an immense piece of story content, but we acknowledge that there are some serious pain points inside of it that need to be addressed and corrected. While some changes will require deeper investigation, there are others that we are confident about going ahead with. So this is the huge one that everybody's been waiting for, updating the big bad 6.2 champion boss fight. The champion was intended to be a fierce and demanding skill check for players and their rosters fitting for the late and endgame content. We know he can still deliver on that intent without being an unfair gut check, so we'll be rolling out some updates to this encounter. Damage taken from Nullify in the main event phase will be reduced from 10% to 2%. Block penetration of the champion will be reduced by 50%. The dexterity requirement in his final phase will be reduced from 5 to 3, and also straight up removing the no retreat buff node. I seriously don't think they could have gotten a better changes to this. I think this is perfect. I think this is absolutely perfect, because while I totally see why people want the fight to be easier, this is one of my favorite fights in the game, and once you get it down, I'm sure you guys will like it too. It's a really fun fight without no retreat. And once you learn the dexterity spacing on his special attacks, it's a really fun fight. So with this change, it's going to make it so you take less damage from the Nullify, which is great. You're going to take a lot less block damage. So if you struggle to dex his specials, you can maybe now you can just block them, and it won't do nearly as much damage. You don't have to get 5 dexterities, you only have to get 3 now. And I know when I first did the fight, there's a lot of times I get to 3, 4, and then die. So that's a great change, while still keeping that really cool skill part of the fight and that mechanic to the fight. And just removing the no retreat is great, man. So I think overall this is a perfect change to the champion boss. Let me know if you guys think this is good, too much, not enough. I'm interested to hear your guys' feedback, but I personally think this is pretty good. It's going to make it so that I can still go back to this fight, still replay it, still have fun with it, but also it's going to be a lot easier for people to get through it. And to 100%, no retreat was just so stupid. That was the no retreat champion boss was one of the stupidest things in all of Act 6. I personally think, because when I did it, I didn't do it with just no retreat. I did it with like no retreat and 3 other nodes, and it was ridiculous trying to figure it out in the Legends run without having any practice prior. It wasn't a fun time. So yeah, really great to see that being changed. I don't think no retreat should be anywhere near that caliber of a fight. So that's great. That's really, really great, man. Really, really great on that one. So for the rest of Act 6, reducing attack values across the entire act. Attack values for opponents is something we're committed to focusing more on with every new piece of content we're developing. As part of that, we're going back into Act 6 and returning encounters across the entire act to bring their attack values more in line with where they should be compared to Abyss of Legends and the Grandmaster boss in Act 6, Chapter 4. It's clear that those values are more fitting and fair for players engaging with that level of content. We will be bringing the rest of Act 6 in line with them. That is great to hear, man. That was one thing that we were really worried about with the Abyss, is that the attack ratings are going to be just insane, but they weren't that bad. They were balanced. So seeing Act 6 get a similar treatment will be great. So attack values for Path champions in Act 6.4 will be reduced by 40 to 60%, dropping them from 15k on average to closer to around 5 to 9k on average, with some even lower. Path fights in 6.3, 6.2, and 6.1 will be scaled down from that top value accordingly. That is just great to hear, man. So great to hear. Attack values for final bosses in Act 6.6, Chapter 4, excluding the Grandmaster. It's good. I don't really want them to touch the Grandmaster. I think he's a really good fight as he is. Will be scaled down by 60 to 75%, dropping them from 22k on average to 6.5 to 10k on average. Final bosses in 6.3. I think there's a typo there. I meant to say 6.2 and 6.1 will be scaled down from that top value accordingly. So this is just really great to hear. And something Brian Grant actually said is that this is actually kind of like a silent buff on certain champions like Cull Obsidian. He'll be much more relevant now because, you know, he won't be so unsustainable taking all that block damage because there'll be so much less block damage. So it'll make more champions just more relevant in this content, which is a great point. Brian's a smart guy. I really like that angle that he thought of. So that's great, man. Really, really happy to see this change. And it'll also make champions like Quake and Ghost just not so dependent because block damage won't be nearly as punishing. So that's just really great. That's really great stuff, man. So revisit pain point boss fights and path fights. So it's clear to see that there are boss fights and path fights implemented in Act 6 that are far too demanding and niche for the majority of players to engage with. We will be reviewing each chapter in Act 6 and taking aim at our most egregious encounters and returning their buff profiles to broaden options for viable counters or simplifying their requirement by stripping out unfair nodes. This is really great to hear. We'd like to hear from you, our players, on what your pain points with certain bosses in Act 6 were. We have some of our own plans and targets in the works, but we're still early on, and we don't want to poison the well by talking specifics just yet. So we're going to set up a player-focused group with a selection of 20 to 30 summoners from across the battle realm and work with them to do some discovery surrounding what made some of the more troubling fights problematic. Take a look at our forums to find out how you can get involved. You can also give us feedback about Act 6 and boss fights in our forums. So that's really great to hear, man. Off the top of my head, I think the Mr. Sinister boss should just be stripped of a couple of nodes. EMP modification should just get out of there. If they take that out, that'll open up the fight to a lot more, and it'll just be a lot more reasonable. Yeah, I think Mr. Sinister is definitely a pain point for a lot of people. There's just too many nodes on him. There's really just too many nodes. Just take out some of the nodes. Take out Caustic Temper or EMP modification. Just taking out one of those will open the fight up to a lot more counters. So that's off the top of my head. Another path I think could be use some reevaluation is the Special Connoisseur one in 6.4. But yeah, if there's anything specifically you guys think that needs to be changed, leave it down below or the forums. Tell Kabam. I don't know if Kabam's gonna look at the comments on my video. Maybe. When and how? We hope all this sounds like a positive step forward, but the burning questions will be when are these changes coming, and what if I've already completed Act 6? For us, Book 2 is an important event for MCOC, and we want as many of you as possible to experience it. That's why our goal is to bring some or all of these changes to the game before the launch of Book 2. Find out when that is below. As for those who have recently completed Act 6, we are exploring options for compensation. However, we are still discussing how we want to manage quest compensation into the future, something Kabam Frenchie will discuss a little more later on. So they don't really go into more depth about Act 6 compensation, but as far as compensation goes, what I would like to see for being someone who has already completed it, I don't want revives like similar to the Abyss compensation with the Captain Marvel fight. Because I still haven't even claimed those. Like, those revives are of no use to me. What I would love to see is similar to the Abyss Nexus Crystal. Give me one of those crystals to select a 6-star. Something like that. That's the kind of compensation I want to see coming from someone who's done Act 6. Or units. Give me some of my units back, man. For that No Retreat Champion boss. I'm sure a lot of people have spent a lot of units on that. That was definitely the most time and most units or items spent on my 6.2 Legends run. So yeah, just give me my units back. I'll take that. Or money. I'll take money back too. I doubt it. That's not going to happen. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about compensation. If you're done Act 6, what would you want? Or if you're not done Act 6, what do you think it should be? But as far as Book 2, Chapter 1, it's been a while since the Book 2, Chapter 1 beta, and we've been hard at work turning intent into action. We've taken our previous comments about positive reinforcement, more mindful design intent, and respecting player investment, and turned them into our goals for story content going forward. Reward player accomplishments. Rewards me more than just crystals and catalysts, so we have always planned to add more path-based rewards on Book 2 as a way of increasing value between completion and exploration. Our new avenue for increasing rewards is inside of fights, forcing players to struggle just to do the bare minimum against opponents was a slog. Giving players opportunities for massive damage spikes and health recoveries are themselves rewards, and we should be providing them to players more often. Outwitting, challenging, champion, or overcoming a tough buff node are accomplishments that deserve celebration. So path-based rewards will be added to Book 2 to fill the gap between completion and exploration, which is good to hear. And fights will be designed to reward optimal play rather than punish suboptimal play. So that's cool. All sounds like good stuff. And respect player investments. The energy cost to complete a path in Book 2 will not exceed 70 energy. That's good. Anything more than that's pretty ridiculous. What I would actually love to see is energy being able to go over 70. Actually, you can do that in Raid Shadow Legends. It's pretty cool. I had like 1600 energy, and I was like way more than the cap, and I could just do a bunch of content. I'd love to see energy going over 70, over the cap. Like you just get rewarded through it with energy, and you store it. I'd love to see something like that. Just random thought. The time requirement to complete a path is reduced as a part of reducing the scope of quest paths. RNG requirements to fights will be loosened to open up the avenues for counterplay. That's all great to hear. And empower player with choices. This sounds really interesting. So most of the meaningful choices made by players happen at the start of a quest. Party composition, which path to start down, activating boost, etc. This severely impacts opportunities for experimentation, specialization, and strategy because it forces players to front-load problem solving. Our aim for story content is to provide more decision-making opportunities inside of a quest, as well as expand on a variety of choices available. So story quests will feature multiple final bosses for more choice and less repetition. That's really interesting. I have no idea how it's going to look, but I'm very intrigued. We're slowly rolling out new gameplay for use in Book 2 by introducing champion swapping in Chapter 1, inspired by incursions. So if you guys don't really know what that means, basically in incursions, in the middle of a room, you can choose to leave up a linked node on champion, so it's going to be a more difficult fight. But by doing that, you can actually swap one of your champions out in the middle of the incursion. So translating that to 7.1 or Book 2.1, you can be in the middle of a quest and you can swap a champion mid-quest without having to back out and restart the path. I love that. I really love that. That's really cool. Really happy to see that being added, and I'm very interested to try it. That's really cool. And we're also going to get reduced player mental load So asking players to draft complex battle plans to accomplish a single path and story content is a big ask, which is why we're reducing the size and complexity of all our maps. We're focusing more on designing less complex buffs, as well as layering fewer overlapping buffs on encounters. Lastly, we're going to begin signposting difficulty for paths. Being able to jump into a quest and see a clear indication of which paths are easy and which are difficult will speed up the process of determining where players decide they want to go. So that's great, because you look at some quests right now, and just the whole layout, it's like very complex. The link nodes, you're trying to figure out where to go, what to do. Like it's a lot, so that sounds great. The number of paths, lengths of paths, and fights per path have been decreased. Expect fewer buffs on the majority of encounters, with simpler buffs being applied. Path difficulty will be scaled from easy to hardest, with clear signposting to help identify them, rewards, PI tuning, etc. So I'm really a fan of that. I really like to see that. Personally, the only thing I don't want to see is things being too easy. I don't want them to be too hard and too champion specific, but I still, this is supposed to be end game content. I still want it to be a challenge, but not like champion dependent. Like you need Ghost to get through this fight. That's not a challenge. You just need a certain champion, So if you guys understand what I'm saying, I don't want everything to be super ridiculously hard and champion dependent. I don't want everything to be too easy, and I don't think it will be. So I'm not too worried. But yeah, challenge players with bosses. The climactic final fight in a quest shouldn't be a bottleneck of inescapable difficulty, but an opportunity for players to show off their strength of the roster and scope of their skills. The structure for final bosses is undergoing a huge rework, with plans to not only deliver on simpler standalone challenges, but also to provide multiple final bosses per quest. Options and opportunity are key to more meaningful choices, and breaking free of necessity of fighting the same final boss 6 to 9 times is a great way to bring more of both story quests. This is really interesting. So final bosses are being designed as standalone experiences that rely less on niche RPG counters and hard skill requirements. Having multiple final bosses per quest will allow us to scale their difficulty and vary their challenges to keep the quest fresh for replays. So that's really great to hear, man. I love trying to get a solo on every single boss. So more bosses, more solos, more videos. Sounds good to me. The ultimate goal is to raise the quality bar and deliver on something more enjoyable, more engaging, and more unique. This means that story content is going to take more time to craft. Instead of updated releases cadence of fewer quests more often, we're going back to more time between releases, with more quests being released. Our new projected release date for Book 2, Act 1, Chapter 1 is December of 2020. So 6 months, with plans for a new chapter every 6 months. We promise you it'll be worth the wait. So half a year for each chapter. I don't like that. I hate waiting for new content, but hopefully it actually is worth the wait. And yeah, I'm really excited for that, man. I'm always just itching for new content. So hopefully we get more variant and stuff in between these 6 month periods to occupy us and the endgame players that have nothing to do. And then we get to the next big thing, Cavalier difficulty. So you've been waiting for it. The purpose of Cavalier difficulty is to both help you build your roster to face the Grandmaster in Act 6 and also prepare you for Book 2. Let's go to, there's a lot of text here. Why did it take so long? The Cavalier title was released some time ago, and while it brings some perks with it, without a new difficulty or monthly content, many of you have gone unchallenged by the uncollected difficulty. So as time went by without a solution, we heard your voice and decided it was time to create this new difficulty. We apologize for the delay, and we hope to have a solution to our problem before the need for the next level of difficulty. Release date. The first Cavalier difficulty will be available on September 2nd. I can hear the anticipation behind your screen, so to keep you sharp, we are going to run 2 side quest difficulty test runs starting this July with Canadian difficulty. I love that name. We're starting with our side quests because they are much more fluid when it comes to difficulty and rewards. While you battle against Sasquatch, we will gather data and feedback to help us ensure that everything is ready and in a good spot for September. If all goes well, you will see the new legendary side quest difficulties along the new Cavalier event quest difficulty. Woot woot. So July, we're going to get that Canadian difficulty side quest. August, a legendary difficulty side quest. I think that's just going to be the name of it going forward. That's a good name. And September, we'll get the Cavalier difficulty event quest launch. So it's going to be, this is going to have, they don't have rewards set for Cavalier difficulty yet. So these side quests are going to help gauge the rewards. So I'm very interested to see what kind of rewards we're going to get for this every month. And I'm really excited to have it every month. So rewards boost. So this one, you guys can pause and read it if you want. I'm not going to go too in-depth to it, but they're talking about some reward changes and compensation. They don't really go into the Act 6 stuff here, but yeah, if you want to pause the video and read that, go for it. We got a little stuff for Beyond the Quest. We're getting new music, so we're getting battle music, all new battle music that pops up, that ups the ante on the original and strikes fear into weary summoners. Boss music, bigger, badder, and bolder. The new boss track is truly awe-inspiring. Quest exploration. Finally, when exploring a quest, you get all new music instead of the old menu sounds. Champion selection, having a hard time choosing your team while perusing at your roster has gotten even better with this brand new backing track. So just more sounds. That's cool. I have music on still, so yeah, different music. That sounds good to me. And then we get boss rush and more. And the more is crazy, but we'll get into that in a sec. So with the boss rush, this summer we'll be releasing something that's a new spin on our boss rush content called the Summoner Smackdown. I like that name. You'll freely unlock a new boss each week for 5 weeks. Completing each week grants you an unlock item required to participate in the final week, the Omega Quest, which combines the previous 5 weeks bosses for the ultimate challenge. This content will be available in all our usual difficulties. Let us know what you think of the format and when it comes your way in late July. So that sounds really, really cool. Unfortunately, I am going to be gone for 2 weeks at the start of August. So yeah, I won't be here to make new videos. I'll have videos scheduled, and I'll like screen record these boss fights and I'll upload them when I get home. It's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then more, as they say on the nightly news. And finally, is our mission to provide more engaging, strategic, rewarding, and downright fun fights in the contest as the contest evolves. With changes to Act 6, the awesomeness of Book 2, that sweet, sweet Variant 5, and the long-awaited Cavalier difficulty, there is something for almost everyone. When I say almost, I'm talking about the special group at the top. Those that have bested everything on offer and laughed into the abyss. This guy. Well, we can't have that now, can we? It's time for a little test. It's time for some real pain. Summer of Pain, working title. As if summer didn't have enough, we're designing a brand new challenge for the top 0.1% of mcoc players. Something for those sickos that have blasted through all of Act 6 and beat the abyss in a Mexican hotel room. Shout out to Seaton. And treat variants like a vacation. Yeah, I do every variant on the first day. They definitely feel like a vacation. In response to these feats and to finally break you, we're working on something that will make you question life itself. The strongest, most fearsome, and finger-breakingly difficult fights from across the contest will return, but with unique roster requirements, smaller teams, and new ways to play them. We're throwing down the gauntlet to you, the best of the best, to take on this challenge. In reward, you'll be blessed with a myriad of top-tier rewards. You'll need all your skill, all your roster, and all your bravery to best the Summer of Pain. Stay tuned as we gear up to reveal more on this new challenge. Oh my god, dude. That sounds like it was made for me. I'm one of those sickos, man. Oh man, that sounds like fun. But again, I don't know when that's going to release. I really hope it doesn't drop when I'm gone. I'm going to be gone from like August 3rd to the 15th or something like that. So yeah, I really hope it doesn't drop then, or I guess I'll if it does and I have to do it like while I'm gone, I can just screen record it and then upload it. But man, that's gonna be sick. I am really excited for that. Wow, that just screams my name. Oh, I can't wait to do that. That's what I'm most excited for, man. They got me hyped. That's all for today, folks. We're hyped for the future of quests, and we can't wait to reveal even more over the coming months. Join us on Thursday as we take a deep dive into the future of alliances, the mcoc dev team. So, a whole ton of information to go over. Recap real quick. Summer of Pain sounds super dope. You guys know I'll be doing that. We're gonna crush that. Whatever it is. I don't care how much time it takes for me to learn it, to practice it. We're gonna crush that. Sounds like a lot of fun. It says that it's gonna be bringing in. I thought I read it here. The strongest, most fearsome, and finger-breakingly difficult fights from across the contest. So that sounds like Grandmaster, the Champion, Maestro, who knows what else. But yeah, I'm ready for all that, man. I'm ready. This cool boss rush coming in the summer. New music. We got Cavalier difficulty coming in September. And for July and August, we got a new addition to the side quest difficulties to help scale rewards for the Cavalier difficulty. That's great. A lot of changes going forward with Book 2. And some really good changes with Act 6. Remember, they're taking feedback. With the Champion boss fight and the attack value decreases sound just so good for Act 6. Going to make it so much better for new people. And Variant 5. So overall, the changes are looking absolutely spectacular. I am really excited for the future of quests. And yeah, so much great stuff to come, man. It's just getting me excited. Love hearing about all this new stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Are you happy with this? Do you think they hit the mark? Do you think they missed the mark? Let me know. Very interested to see. And if you guys want to see me bring the pain to the Summer of Pain, drop a like. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Peace out.